Medieval Dynasty, the champion of realistic survival, crafting and building RPGs. It sits on the throne, watching over its subjects. It even makes you late for a meeting because you were chopping wood for 6 hours straight. But the challenger appears. From the land far away, a newcomer, Sengoku Dynasty, is threatening the crown. Does it have what it takes to dethrone the king? The champion rises. The duel is at hand. Let's see if we have a new king. Emperor? Listen, I'm trying to be dramatic here. Please subscribe or my goblins will make Shane Gillis disappear. We start off with graphics and visuals. Medieval Dynasty may be a bit older game, but the map is crafted with such care that any newer game advantage is instantly gone for Sengoku Dynasty. The visuals in Medieval Dynasty are holding up, and the transitions between seasons are beautiful. You can really feel a lot of care has been put in how everything's put together, and your travels will always be pleasant, even if you walk the same road again and again. One very important detail here is your village. As it grows, it becomes more and more impressive, when you're able to add paint and decorations to the buildings even more so. I made it so every single person had a different color scheme, and yes, it took me hours to do so. No, I was not late for a meeting, I think. The thing is, Medieval Dynasty has this charm which will make you want to have the best looking settlement you can. In some other games, you might not even care how interior of a house you don't even live in looks like. Here, you do. Characters look pretty good for the age, and while they do kind of look the same and your settlement might start looking like as a Habsburg dynasty, please don't Google that, let's just say they liked to keep it in the family, it's not very noticeable. But what about Sengoku Dynasty? First thing you'll notice is your character. There's very few options to choose from, the people you meet seem to be created from the same pool that you have, and it's slightly disappointing because this is a newer game and I expected a bit more. The open world looks nice, again the travels will be pleasant. I really like how everything looks in winter, but the other seasons are not lagging behind too much. The map is crafted well, although I have to say it's not as good as Medieval Dynasty 1. In my opinion. Some of the areas you visit lack a bit of oomph. There's much more emptiness here than in Medieval Dynasty. The buildings look great, the authenticity is there, and you'll want to build more and more to make your village look nicer and protect it from the raiders. It is much less colorful than its medieval counterpart, but that's more of a personal preference, so I'm not going to count that against Sengoku Dynasty. The animals, however, I believe look and act better in Medieval Dynasty, as do the visuals as a whole. Medieval Dynasty deals the first blow, but what is this? The challenger shrugged it off, and we have to look at the combat next. Sengoku Dynasty throws us in combat pretty early, and by combat I don't mean hunting or avoiding animals. As you explore, you'll come up on bandit camps which spawn at random locations, and they do so throughout the game, so they never run out. Combat is also an integral part of the game for liberating the areas, which you have to do if you want to really succeed and become a shogun of the land, or whatever they did back then. A side note, you can turn off combat for liberation missions, but you still have to fight. With the Bushido update, we also got village raids, and if you don't pay up, be prepared to fight along with your villagers. There is a lot of combat in the game, and not only against boars and bears. The combat mechanics on their own are a bit clunky but quite satisfying. If you take on multiple enemies, at least at the beginning, you'll get overwhelmed, so you have to plan while attacking the bandit camp. You can defeat some of the enemies even before they can reach you. Ranged weapons are very strong, and you can really do a lot of damage this way. If you like a challenge and not too peaceful of a game, Sengoku Dynasty can deliver. Medieval Dynasty is not combat heavy at all. Some of the DLCs improved on combat, but the game itself wasn't designed for it, which even the developers made clear. There is a few bandits here and there, but not a lot. In Medieval Dynasty, you'll mostly use your weapons for hunting and defending from wolves, boars and other bigger animals, but not bandits or any raiders. Your village is never in danger of being attacked, and so you never have to worry about it. When you do get into a fight, it doesn't really last long, so the mechanics are lacking, and honestly, the weapons you can make are better off being sold than used. Except for bows and some melee weapon for aggressive animals, there is really not much to say about combat in Medieval Dynasty because there's not so much of it. In this regard, Sengoku Dynasty strikes back. Sengoku Dynasty had a lot of problems when it released, but did anything get fixed? Well, no, not really. Problems in performance are still being reported, and even on my new rig with 5070 Ti and 32 gigs of RAM, I still get some drops. I did check my CPU usage and that wasn't the problem, so the optimization of the game is just not there yet. Frame drops and lag are still the biggest problems of Sengoku Dynasty. It's not that you can't play the game, but when you're in the zone and drops happen, it can ruin your day, and as your village grows, so do the performance problems. Again, it's not a constant problem, but it happens enough to be noticeable. There was a lot of talk about this for a long time, but it still didn't get fixed properly, even with the major updates being pushed. We all appreciate the content, but it all starts at the game running smoothly. Medieval Dynasty runs very well. Even on older machines, I never had any lag. Even with the biggest of villages I had, it all ran smoothly without a hitch, and I didn't need any upscaling or anything like that. It seems like the years of optimizing really bore the fruit, and you can play Medieval Dynasty without worrying of crashes and having a bad day because you can't set foot in your village out of fear of frames dropping to ungodly levels. No contest here, Medieval Dynasty wins hands down. The most important mechanic of both games is village management and crafting. Here, both games have a very strong foundation. In fact, they're really similar in how everything works. There are some major differences though. First one comes in how the people are recruited. In Medieval Dynasty, you can easily get new recruits just by visiting other settlements. By growing your own village and building houses, you can get a sizable population very quickly. You are, however, restricted by tech levels, which go up by you working and grinding out XP for the levels. Those can take a long time, especially if you decide to travel around and hunt or gather materials just for the fun of it. You know, chopping wood for 6 hours so your villagers can make the wicker basket to sell at $2 a pop. Village management is very important, especially where you put the people to work, because they all have different stats in what they're good at, and you have to work to optimize your workforce. Not only that, but in one house you can have 2 inhabitants which have to be a woman and a man. Can't have 2 women living under the same roof, for example. When they fall in love and expect a child, a woman will stop working for quite some time, so you have to take also that into account. Crafting is very good, the menu is easily accessible and not confusing, and everything is explained in a way you won't get lost and search for what you have to do on YouTube, like mine. Sengoku Dynasty is a bit different here. You recruit refugees, which you find on your travels, or they sometimes spawn at your village bell. They can work whatever job you assign them to because there are no levels or stats here. There are tech levels, but that goes up while you do stuff and it's actually pretty fast. There is also a difference in villages. Here you'll have to manage more than one because different areas have different resources and only the villagers from that area can mine copper, for example, which makes things quite interesting because you have to manage a lot. That also means you won't get as attached to the settlements and they may become just a number for you to check for resources. But some people like managing more than one village, which you can do in Medieval Dynasty 2 because you can build wherever you want to, but it's just not the same. In Sengoku Dynasty, you can build a village only around the bells which you have to earn. Crafting is the same as in Medieval Dynasty, and yes, even here you can chop wood to your heart's content. While it's very close, I believe Medieval Dynasty wins this one by just a hair. Last but not least, music and sound. Both games excel here, the music is really nice all around, the sounds are great, voice acting is good, and I really like people speaking Japanese in Sengoku Dynasty. Nature sounds are again great all around, and when you come into your village you can hear people working and doing stuff. In Medieval Dynasty, if you make them benches and campfire, they'll sit around it and talk. Nature sounds are really good. A walk in the forest in both games make you feel like you're really there, so you can always pretend you went on a walk without a danger of being mauled by a bear in real life, just in game. This one is a draw. Sengoku Dynasty is a worthy competitor to Medieval Dynasty, but not better. Medieval Dynasty is still sitting on the throne by being a more complete and better running game. I didn't cover narrative on purpose because none of those are particularly great, because both games aren't designed around narrative. But while Medieval Dynasty still wins, it doesn't mean you should always choose it as your game. If you like Japanese style and more combat intensive game, Sengoku Dynasty will bring you more joy. While it does have some performance issues, you can play it for the most part and not worry about a thing. Overall though, Medieval Dynasty is a better game, and at both games costing the same considering everything, it is a better choice. But there is a new challenger, Viking Dynasty is coming and the long ships are on the horizon. Will this be the end of Medieval Dynasty's reign? Subscribe to find out as soon as it comes out. We're trying to get to 1000 subscribers, and join my Discord where we have cats to pet, epic RPG to play, and trivia nights where you can win prizes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!